Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to do the air quality test, and the air quality test basically should be done every time you refill the cascade system behind me. Every time you refill it, you have to conduct this air quality test to make sure that we deliver good air for everybody that is using it, to make sure that you're breathing good air. And we have some rules and regulations. We have specifications for the grade of air we will be testing. This air has to match grade D air qualifications or specifications. I will show you where these are, where you can find them, and we will test it. Now, this is the SCBA without the harness assembly, and without the harness assembly, that's how you should have it when you do the air quality test. Now, your air quality test kit is usually in here. Okay. Now we've brought it down. We're actually in the facility. That's why you see a beard and the goatee. So this is your breathing air kit. In here, you have the wrench. This is the adjustable wrench. This should only be used for the air quality test, not for anything else. Don't use it for anything else, please. You open this, and in here you see all the tools you need, all the things you need for the test. This is your instructions book. This is your friend that will walk you through everything here. I'm just here to make it easier for you. Now, get this box out of your way. Put it somewhere. And to start the installation, we have to go through some steps. Now, the installation. Before attaching, you will read these instructions many times until you memorize them. I know them all. I've memorized them. But for you, for the first 10 times, I recommend that you read them, because you'll be on days off, coming back to work, whatever. It's good for you to memorize all of these, so you wouldn't have to spend as much time on the test. So before attaching the compressor, the compressed breathing air analysis kit. This is the compressed breathing air analysis kit. This before attaching it to the breathing air source. This is the breathing air source to be analyzed. Carefully read the user responsibility and safety precaution sections of this manual. You have to come back to the index right here. You have to come back to the index and look for what you want to know. Now on page 4 is the user responsibility, and on page 5 is the safety precautions. You have to read those. We just read them. We know what they say. To make this video shorter, we are not going to read them. But the installation is important. Now, 1. To analyze breathing air from a cylinder source. 1.1. There's no 2 yet. It's 1.1. Secure the cylinder in a manner as to prevent accidental toppling. A model 400 wall mount or 420 bench mount cylinder holder are recommended. We don't have those here, so basically keep your cylinder in a secure place. Don't keep it on the edge of anything, or make sure it's in a place where it won't get knocked down to the floor. Now, remove the cylinder valve protective cap if present. We don't have that here. If we did, it would be here. Make certain that the cylinder valve is tightly closed clockwise. You turn this that way, clockwise. This is closed. 1.4. Remove the cylinder valve outlet, plug or dust cap if present. We don't have that. 1.5. Inspect the cylinder valve outlet for contamination or abuse, as described under safety precaution sections. Follow the procedures outlined below. Make the connections of the regulator to the compressed breathing air source. So now we have to inspect it and make sure there is no damage, there is no abuse to the cylinder from here or anywhere. If you find anything, you'll have to flag it and tag it and make an IA report and send it back to the company. But this one here is good. We just used it and it's working. So two, following the procedures outlined below. Make the connection of the regulator to the compressed breathe-in air source. Now we have some steps. We will follow them one by one to make the connection. To connect this to this. This is the breathe-in air analysis kit, and this is the breathe-in air source. 2.1. Install the breathe-in air kit assembly. This one. Without a detector tube attached. We don't need any tubes just yet. Without a detector tube attached, so that the flow meter is in a vertical position with the flow meter valve at the top. Any deviation more than 5 degrees from vertical will affect the accuracy of the flow meter as well as the subsequent measurement made with the kit. Now, we don't know which one is the valve, which one is flow meter, which one is what. So to understand that, you have to go back to, page 7 and find this diagram. You see how everything here has numbers and arrows pointed to it? Number 1 is the inlet connection. Number 2 is the regulator. Just like that, you follow. So now we have to know which one is the flow meter and which one is the flow meter valve. The flow meter is number 5, this one. And number 6 is the flow meter valve. So this is number 5 and this is number 6. Okay? So now we have to make the connection. We'll bring this here like that. Use our middle finger to hold it in place for a few seconds. Okay, now we use this. Don't force it. Sorry. Okay, we'll go back to this. So, do not force the connection between the regulator and the breathing air source. The connection should be made easily. If it cannot be made easily, most likely the user has the wrong regulator connection for the service, or the connection is damaged. See safety precautions section. Like I said, we read them and we know that this is the right connection for the right source, and the company will not send you a different connection because this is what we use for our SCBAs and SCBAs. But reading the safety precautions is a very good thing, and you should read it. 2.3 says never use lubricants. Never use lubricants of any kind, and that's why never use lubricants of any type on the regulator or breathing air source connection. The connection should be made easily, and if it's not happening easily, then you have the wrong connection for the wrong source. 2.4, never use Teflon tape. Teflon tape should never be used either. And by lubricants, before now, I mean any oil or anything, don't use it. Okay? Teflon tape should not be used to help you in sealing the regulator connection to the breathing air source connection. Now we're done with the connection here. We have to do a few things. Close the regulator by turning its adjusting control knob in a counterclockwise direction. So again, you have to go back here to see which one he's talking about. So, saying the regulator, this is a regulator, and this is the adjusting control knob. If I want to close it, I have to turn it this way. Okay? So now I'm closing it. Close the flow meter valve by turning it in a clockwise direction. So this one, if I want to close it, I have to turn it this way. Okay? Close it all the way. Okay. Set the bypass valve on bypass. This is the bypass valve, guys. And If it's pointed down, this is on flow. If it's pointed this way, this is bypass, and that's what we want. We want it to be on bypass now. Okay. Now, before attempting to operate the compressed breathing air analysis kit, carefully read the safety precaution and installation section of this manual. They keep reminding you, that's why you have to read it. Now, 1. Operational overview. The following illustrates the component parts of the compressed breathing air analysis kit. You know, like we said, 1 is the inlet connection, regulator, inlet pressure gauge, delivery pressure gauge. You know, just read them all and you will know. Okay? Note that the model SGD. Okay. 2. Operational procedures. 2.1. The regulator control knob and the flowmeter valve should be closed and the bypass valve set to bypass as described in the installation section on page 5. Now we know that if we close this, if you want to close this, we have to turn it this way, and if you want to close this, we turn it this way. This is closed and this is also closed. This is also on bypass, not on flow. Also, a detector tube should not be attached to the system at this time. This is the tube inlet. There's no tubes attached to here, but there will be later. Now, 2.2. The user should be fitted with appropriate safety apparel, such as safety glasses. I don't have safety glasses. You know, I'm from days off now, so this is what I got. Actually, give me your glasses.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry about that.
No.
Okay, no excuses. I have safety glasses.
Z7?
Huh?
It's Z7.
Z7?
Yeah.
I don't know, 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2.3. The user should then position himself or herself with the cylinder between the user and the breathing air kit. Do not rest hands. See guys here? Do not rest hands on here. Don't put your hands here. Alright? On or apply force to the regulator during the following steps. Well, we shouldn't do that at all. So now, to avoid damage to the regulator's internal parts, open the cylinder valve or breathing air source valve slowly, and here it's capitalized. Okay? You have to open this very, very slowly. To avoid damage to the regulator's internal parts, open the cylinder valve or breathing air source valve slowly. So, we will open this very, very slowly. Okay, you see a rise in pressure. Continue opening it. Observe the high inlet pressure gauge, models BAK-01 and BAK-03, for a rise in pressure to full cylinder pressure. So basically, this pressure is the same as this one. Now, 2.5. Observe all high pressure connections in the pressurized system for leaks. Now there's some kind of solution. There's some kind of liquid they use to detect leaks, but we don't have that here. We don't have that. If you want to check for leaks, you can close this for 5 minutes. You know, everything now is closed off. I do one thing sometimes if I have a leak in the system. You know, you have the tape. You have the electrical or flagging tape. It's round. So I make a drone of this like that, and I only make the 3 numbers that you know, that are between the arrow. Make 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, and I point where it is at. Or I can just write down, okay, the time is this, and this is the pressure. I check it again 5 minutes later. If there is any leaks, I will know. But we've tested this. There is no leaks. To make this video shorter, we'll just move on. but you have to check for leaks. Now, 2.5.3. If a leak is indicated by any of the methods above, recheck the CGA connection to the cylinder and all other high pressure connections. Basically, if you have a leak, close the valve, open this one also, and set this to flow to get rid of all the air, and then disconnect the breathing air kit and connect it again. Okay? If the system has been leak checked, as in step 2.5, and is found to be accepted, this means if you checked it for leaks and there were no leaks, open the cylinder valve or breathing air source valve completely. So you'll open it completely. Oh, I apologize. At first you only open it a little bit, and now you open it all the way. Sorry about that. Now, installation continued. 2.7. While observing the delivery pressure gauge, slowly adjust the regulator control knob clockwise to raise the delivery pressure to the preset pressure required for the particular detector tube to be used. Now, this one right here is the delivery pressure gauge. Okay. Now, it depends on what gas we are going to test for. We will adjust this to that preset level. Now, for the oxygen is 8.5. The oxygen should be the first test you ever make, because if there's not enough oxygen in here, you don't need to do the rest of the tests. That's a waste of the tubes, a waste of your time. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is make this 8.5. So we start opening this. I know it looks like I'm closing it, but it's actually opening it. So I'll make it 8.5. As you see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The big number is 5, and the other big number is 10. So 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8.5. Okay? 8.5. That's what they said I should do. So, now 2.8. Adjust the flowmeter valve, which is this one, so that the float in the flowmeter is approximately 1/4 inch. And here they say accuracy is not very important. From the bottom of the flowmeter. This allows a slight flow of air through the system. So, for the oxygen, it doesn't say here, it says 8.5. And on here you have writings. Okay? You have writings that indicate the kind of gases you're testing. So now we want the oxygen to be tested. So we go to O2. You will hear the air coming through the system from the bypass valve right here. Okay, now note, turning the flowmeter valve clockwise. If you turn it clockwise, it decreases the flow, while turning it counterclockwise increases the flow. Increases the flow of the air through the system. 2.9. Readjust the regulated delivery pressure to the appropriate preset pressure. This means while you fix this, this might drive a little bit. Okay, so fix it, make sure it's say 5, 6, 7. See, now it's 7.5, now it's 8.5. Okay? O2. I'm sorry, apparently I set it on oil at first. This is O2, I didn't see it. It has to come to O2, which is here. Okay? Make sure that's still the same. 8.5. Okay. .10. Adjust the flowmeter valve so that the center of the float ball and the flowmeter is the regulator mark for particular gas tubes. Okay, just that. Now, 2.11. This is very important, guys. This right here is very, very, very important. Most people don't do it, and they should do it. To make sure that you have clean air and make sure you have good tests, you have to follow every instruction here, every step. Right here it says 2.11 on page 8. This is your friend. Allow the breathe-in air to flow through the system for 3 minutes. For carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and oil mist. So 3 minutes for carbon dioxide, 3 minutes for carbon monoxide, 3 minutes for the oil mist. Okay? 10 minutes for water vapor tubes, so as to purge the system. Right now we will do the oxygen. We'll do the oxygen test, so we do not need any purging. Okay? The oxygen test, we will need a syringe. We'll need this rubber flexible hose. We will need the tube. We'll find the oxygen tubes here. Oxygen. You will look at the expiry date of every tube before you use it. Right here says April 2014. If some of them are expired, make sure you tell the company about it. Tell the company and get the up-to-date tubes. Now, we got the oxygen tube. For more details on the oxygen test, you can go to page 11. See here, it has more information on every test. For the oxygen test, right here it says the color of the tube is white. If there is oxygen, it will change to brown. Okay? And the sampling time for the oxygen, there is no time. We don't need time for this. With the preset for the preset pressure for the oxygen. I know this is confusing, but on page 11, this is wrong. This is 3.0. This is wrong. Okay? This is wrong. The correct one is on page 8. On page 8, the preset level for oxygen is 8.5. I have tried on 8.5 and on 3. When the syringe reaches 50 milliliters, there is not enough oxygen. Okay, so the correct one is on page 8. Now, before we do the test, we will have to use the lighter to burn this. You see this chemical here? You see right here, this chemical in the tube. We have to burn it and change it to purple. Okay, so just burn it a little bit. The AC is blowing here. Okay, we turn it. Okay, you see? Right now, it's supposed to be purple, but like the guy said, it's gray, but I think it's black. Anyway, now, a good way to know the direction you put the tube in the kit here. I always follow this. Sometimes we forget we're humans. So small numbers always go to the top. Small numbers to the top. Big numbers to the bottom. We have the arrow here. The arrow should be to the bottom. Okay? But sometimes you're too busy, so just find the small number, put it on the top. Okay? Now, to start the test, I have to get the tube cutter. This is the tube cutter. Open it, put this in here, break it. You have to be wearing safety gloves too. We don't have safety gloves here. So, okay, now it's good. Put this back here. Now, big number will come inside the tube. Like I said, we do not need to purge the system for the oxygen. Okay, we'll put it in here. I always like the number facing me, so I know what's, how much is there. Sorry. So now, as you see, there's no air coming through here because this is set on bypass, and right now I will set it on flow. When you set it on flow, the tube in here will start changing color. Okay, it will start changing color, and the syringe will start backing up. As you see here, when this side of the rubber, the black rubber, when this side reaches the 50 limit, you will close the air. You will close the air and take the measurements of the oxygen. Make sure your hand is not here. So 50. Okay. Now this is hot, so be careful. Use gloves or use something when you take it off. Okay. I'm going to use this tissue here. Toilet paper. Use this to disconnect it from there. The minimum required amount of oxygen in the breathing air is 19.5. So you will look at this and you will see that it's 21%. It's 21% oxygen, and we know this because the discoloration has happened from 0 to 21%. This means there is enough oxygen in here and we can breathe it safely. The minimum required is 19.5, and this is 21. That's good. Normal breathing air has 20.9% oxygen in it, so this is like 1 point more than that. And the maximum allowed for humans is 23%, so this is perfect. What you do with the tube is you put it aside. After you're done, I will tell you what you do with it. Right now, what we will do is this. We're done with this. Pack them up, make sure they're nice and neat. And now, while we're talking, we need to purge the system for 3 minutes. We'll purge the system for 3 minutes, and we will do the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and then water vapor. And because the oil mist takes forever, it takes 25 minutes, we will do the oil mist, the last one. Okay? So now, we will set the clock. We have a timer here. We have a timer that comes with the breathing kit. If you press this, it will increase the minutes. This will increase the seconds. If you press both of them, it will zero the clock again. Now, like it said here in 2.11, allow breathing air to flow through the system for 3 minutes for carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and oil mist, and 10 minutes for the water vapor. So 1, 2, 3. This is 3 minutes. You don't have to set these right now, but I like to set them like for the carbon monoxide, 8.5. It's 8.5 already. Carbon monoxide, CO. I set them like this now, and we start. When the time finishes, when the time finishes, what you have to do is close the valve first. You will close it on. You put it on bypass. You'll turn this up like that, and then you'll stop the clock. Don't worry about the clock. You can stop it a few seconds later. Okay. What we care about here is the accuracy of the test. So right now, my friend Mr. Muhammad will pause or stop the camera, and we'll get back to you when the 3 minutes are up. Okay, guys, here we are again. Now we have 26 seconds left, and when the timer stops, what we will do is we will close the air first, and then we will stop this. After that, we will stop. We will start. Now, like we said, we will do the CO, carbon monoxide. Check the expiry date, July 2014. Okay, get the tube out. close it, then stop the time. Okay, so go back to page 11. Like I said, the information here is all correct, it's all accurate, except for the oxygen. Only this is wrong. This only is wrong. Everything else is accurate. So, for CO, what color is the tube? It's yellow. If there is CO, the tube will change to dark brown if there is CO in this area. Now, the preset pressure is 8.5, and it is 8.5, and the sampling time is 2 minutes. Okay? So, you see what I did? It was 3. I closed it like that, made it 0. Now it's 2 minutes. If you do a test and the acceptable level, okay, for CO, you go back to page 14. Page 14 has the specifications for all grades of breathing air. This is grade D. So this is grade D. For CO, we have to have 10 or less. Okay? We have to have 10 or less. We cannot have any more than that. Carbon monoxide. So now we are ready with the tube cutter again. You don't have to burn anything here. Cut. Small number to the top. Connect. Here you open and you click these, this button in the same time. Okay, so we wait. As you make the test, you will see that the tube here does not change color as fast as the oxygen, because you know there is enough oxygen in the breathing air, and here the carbon monoxide should be less than 10. So it's not going to change, maybe not at all. But if it does change, and it says there's like 60 or 80, that's not acceptable, that's wrong. Because we just saw in grade D, we have to have 10 or less. So, if it changes, and it's more than what it says in the acceptable levels, you have to stop, do the test again. But before you do the test again, make sure your preset pressure is the same. Is the same as it says in the instructions book. Make sure the flow meter ball is in the right location. Make sure the tube is up to date. If you face these problems, read the instructions you see in the yellow paper here. Okay, read the instructions on here, front and back, every single page you can think of. After that, you call somebody that has more experience than you. Maybe this has happened with him or her. Okay, you will tell them, and they will. If you call the office and they tell you, will call you back. Most likely, it's because they will put you in connection with someone that has a lot of experience in this field. So, like I said, this should be less than 10. If there is more than 10, you're either doing the test wrong, or there's CO in this air, and you have to redo the test. In either way, you have to redo the test and make sure everything here is correct. Every preset, every setting is matching the preset level. Now, take the tube out and you read it. Now if you look at page 11, you see you'll keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for all of these here. If you look at CO, it says the tube is yellow, and if there is CO in this air, that will change to dark brown. Now, do you see any dark brown in this tube? No, I don't see any. Do you? No. No. So, right now, you put this here, this side. There is a document that I will have ready, or maybe is ready. No, there is a document I will have ready in a few minutes, and I will show you. It's the official United States breathing air test paper, and all the preset limits are written. Basically, when you finish when you finish a certain test, you'll have to write it down by hand. Okay, some people do it on the computer, it's fine, but if you do it by hand, it's also acceptable. Now, to move on to the next test, we will do the carbon dioxide, CO2. So, this is carbon monoxide, this is oxygen again, and this is oxygen, water vapor, carbon monoxide. Okay, carbon dioxide. Make sure the date is the same. Here it says July 2014. I don't know if it says the same there or not, but for make sure you have tubes here. And if you go back to page 8, section 2.11, it will tell you need to purge the system for 3 minutes before you do the test. So this is 3 minutes now, and we looked at the CO2, and we have carbon dioxide. If you look at the tubes here, it says it's purple blue. If there is CO2 in this gas, it will change to pale pink. Okay? The preset pressure for the CO2 test is 14.2. So now we have to adjust this and make it 14.2. 14.2, as you see, this is 5, 10, 15. So it will be just a little bit. This is 13, 14, just a little bit above it, just a little bit. Okay? Now, you have to set the flow meter ball to CO2. Okay? And now we have a 3 minute time on here. We'll set it on bypass. We'll set it on flow and start the time. Okay? So now, we will go on, because this is HD, we will pause it and we'll come back to you when we have a few seconds left on the clock. Welcome back, guys. Right now we have 1 minute left before the CO2 test is complete. Now this is a document I was telling you about. This is the air analysis of compressed breathing air grade D. These are the preset specifications, and the air has to match these specifications here. The oxygen has to be between 20 to 23.5. Carbon dioxide has to be less than 1,000. Carbon monoxide has to be less than 10. Oil mist has to be less than 5. Water vapor is not applicable, so even if you don't do the test, I don't see why it should matter. And the odor, we don't do that test. So now, for the oxygen, if you have a blank copy of this, and we do, if you have a blank copy of this, you will write down the results of everything. Right now, let's go to the test. Okay, stopped it. Now we will break the tube. Make the clock, make the stopwatch on 2 minutes. Number is facing us, small numbers to the top. And now make sure everything is set, 14.2. This has gone up to, okay, this is CO2. See, things change. You have to make sure they're good. And start the time, and the bypass, valve, set it on flow at the same time. All right. Okay, so we go back to the screen here. As you saw, we had already done the oxygen test. The oxygen test right here says, it was 21%. So we write 21. And you see the unit of measurement here is percent automatically. So you just write 21, or you can write 21.0 if you want. The carbon dioxide, we're making it now. Carbon monoxide has to be less than 10, and in our test it was zero. So 0 ppm. Okay. Now there will be, excuse me, sorry, thank you. there will be some discoloration in the tube here. If you look at it, there's always some CO2. If you go close to the, yep, as you see, there is some discoloration there. This means there is some CO2. By the time these 40 seconds have passed, we will read the measurement and see how much CO is there. All right? What? Okay, 11, 10. It's New Year's. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So now we come. Okay. We come and read the concentration. We read how much CO really is in there. Okay. I will say this is 450 or 475. You will make the determination, because between these two lines right here, between the 300 and the 500, see, 300 and 500, this is 100 here. So I would say this is 375. Okay? It's not accurate. It's definitely not 100% sure what I'm saying, but it looks like 375 to me, so I will say it's 375. I will come to the carbon dioxide section and write 375, and it's already measured, ppm. All right. Now let's do the water vapor test. Like I said, keep your tubes aside, and to do the water vapor test, we have to follow the instructions in 2.11 on page 8. And it says we have to flow it for 10 minutes. Okay? So, 2.11, allow the breathing air to flow through the system for 3 minutes for carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and oil mist tubes. 10 minutes for water vapor tubes, so as to purge the system. Now we have to set the clock on 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes now, and we have to put this on H2O. H2O like that. And the preset pressure for the water vapor is 14.2. So it's the same really. Just make sure it's in its place. Now, 1, 2, 3. See you guys in 10 minutes. Again, guys, right now we have 16, 15, 14 seconds left of the purging for the water vapor test. So, right now we are just waiting until it's finished, so we stop it and do the test. Okay. The sampling time for the water vapor is only 1 minute, as you would see here. For the water vapor, it's 1 minute. And the color of the tube is, well, it says it's yellow, but it's actually like light gold. Anyway, if there is water vapor in this air, the color will change to yellow-green or to blue. Okay? If there is water vapor in here. So we will put this in here for 1 minute and see if there is water vapor and how much is there. So before you get the tube out, make sure you look at the box and the expiration date. This one here is February 2015. All right. So you get the tube out, you break it, small number to the top. Sampling time for the water vapor is 1 minute, and put it in here. Small numbers to the top, numbers facing you, and as you've seen by now, when you open this, when you open the valve from here, the ball drops and the preset pressure changes. That's okay, that's normal. You will even read it in here, in the instructions book. That's totally normal, you should not worry about that, okay? So now, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you see this changed, and this went up. It's fine, there's nothing to worry about. And there will always be water vapor in the grade D breathing air. If you notice, if you go to the tube now, the color is already changing. Could you please point to that tube? As you see, the color on the tube is changing from yellow to green. I have pretty hands. It's changing, and it doesn't matter how much water vapor there is, because in grade D breathing air, we have no preset acceptable level for the water vapor, so it's not applicable. But we're only doing it to show you guys how to do the test. Now we have 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now you get the tube out and read it. If I look at it, I will say there is 160 milligrams. Alright, there is 160.
Just wait 1 second.
Got it? Okay. So 160, and we are done with this. Right now we have to purge the system for 3 minutes to do the oil mist test, which will take 25 minutes. Alright, so for the oil mist, we have to have the preset pressure on 14.2. It is already set on 14.2. We have to change this to oil and make sure this is still on 14.2. It's still okay. The sampling time for the oil mist is 25 minutes. Now we have to look for the oil mist tubes, and as you can see, this is oxygen, water vapor, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, oxygen, and the last one is for oil mist. This one is empty, but the expiration date on it is July 2014. Okay, now we'll find another box here. This is oil mist, and the expiration date on it is February 2014. Alright, so get the tube out. We look at it here again. Oil mist. The color is yellow. If there is oil mist, it will change to pale blue. If there is oil mist. Now, something tricky happened with me a few weeks ago, and I want to share it with you guys so you don't panic or freak out like I did. The oil mist changes. Okay. While doing the oil mist, this chemical inside here, inside this tube, might react to the water vapor level inside this air. Okay? So, the color of the tube might change completely to orange or to light brown. Don't worry, that's just the water vapor affecting the tube in here. If you want to know more about it, there is an instructions book, or this there's this yellow paper inside this tube, inside any tube box. It doesn't matter. When you read this, and it's out of the oxygen box, it's for all the other boxes too. It's for all the tubes, not just for the oxygen. So just read it, and you will know more about it. It happened to me, and I was not happy with it. So now, what am I doing? Okay, to purge the system for 3 minutes, and we'll come back to it when the time is ready, when the time is right to do the test for 25 minutes. So like I said, guys, this will change. It will become orange. Don't worry. It's nothing to worry about. All you have to care about that the oil mist level it will change. If there is oil mist in it, it will change from yellow to pale blue. And the oil mist level has to be less than 5. And if you want to know more about it, you can go to page 14 right here. And the grade D, the oil mist, the oil has to be less than 5. Okay? The oil has to be less than 5. So now we will pause it and come back to you guys for the test, just to do it, and that's it. Thanks. Okay guys, kind of got caught up in something there. Anyway, now the purging is complete, and if you go back to the oil mist information here, I will tell you that the sampling time for the oil mist is 25 minutes. 25 minute, just 1 second. 25 minutes for the oil mist. So you come here and break the tube right here, and you put it in here, the small number to the top, and the number is facing you. Make sure everything is ready and everything is good. Make the time 25 minutes and start. Now this test will happen for 25 minutes. We'll go have lunch and come back. Yay! Again guys, now we have 11 seconds left for the test will be completed. And before when the test is completed, you need to have another one. You need to have another tube of the oil mist, unopened tube in your hand, and the one that you just pulled out, and you will compare both of them together. Okay, compare it. As you see, the color of this one is yellow, the one that is not used, and the other one is like light orange. If you see, this happens because of the water vapor. Alright, now as for the oil mist, we go back to page 14, and I'm sorry, we stay on page 11. For the oil mist, it says the tube color is yellow, and it will change to pale blue if there is any oil mist. Now, if you look at it, there is no pale blue. There is no blue of any kind. Okay? Or there is a little discoloration, but it's not pale blue. Okay? So you will come back to the computer or to the document that you've printed out, and please don't do this. You see here for the oil mist, it has to be less than 5. Okay? Last time we did the test, it was 0 milligrams per whatever this is. Okay? So you'll write down whatever the results were on this tube. You'll write it down here, and of course here you would have to have the cylinder number. This is an old test. You write the cylinder number, you get it from there. The compressor model is Mariner 320. Filter serial number, air quality test kit is BK346. Temperature, if you have it, sometimes on the rig location, if you have the company computer, you can have this here. You get these gadgets, you can write down the temperature. Okay? You can write down the temperature, and other than that, date collected, you'll write the dates of the test today, compressor serial number, and the location in which you're working. After that, you will just print it. Here, you can write your name. Right now, I can write my name. My computer is driving me crazy. Sorry. Okay, forget it. I'm not writing my name. you write your name, or you can print the document and then write it. Write your name. There is a section here that says for comments. Hold on. Okay, right here. Comments. Now, what I normally write here is this. I write all tests passed, and they were all acceptable. In the oil mist, test, the tube color changed to orange by effect of the water vapor. That's what I would write. If you don't want to write that, fine, because it doesn't have any effect. If you do want to write it, it's up to you. If you see anything else that is not normal, you can write it in the comment section. After you're done, you sign it, you scan the paper, and you send it to the office. That's what you do. Now, as for the tubes that you used, you will have the blue tissue paper or shop towels or shop papers. Everybody calls them different names. They're tissue, they're blue. So you get one paper or one towel, you put it here, okay? You put all the tubes in them, in that towel, you wrap them up, and you will have, it will be like this. It'll be this wide. On that, you'll write today's date, you'll write your name, and you write the location name. That's what you write on them. So for me, it would be Ghareeb Hassan, USKB facility. Today's date is August 19th, I think, 2013. That's what you would write. And after that, you will store all of them in here. See? You'll store them in here. And then you will put it back on, in its place. Now it's time to clean up and get rid of all these things, put them back nice and neat. It's very simple. Excuse me. You close the air. Close the air. Set this on flow. Okay. Now we open it. Put this back in its place. Sorry. Right here. Then you get this. Make sure everything is inside of it. Now, before you put this on here, you have to get the instructions book. Put it in its place. And the testing tubes you use, like I said, you'll put them in that blue towel, and you will put them here. Now we have too many. Now we have too many testing tubes, so we'll just have to do like that. This is a place for the tube cutter, the syringe. You can put it here, and you have the stopwatch. There's a special bag for it. Put it back in the bag. You can't turn it off, so just put it in here, like this. If you have too many test tube boxes, you don't have to put them all in here. Sometimes you have room in the room up there next to it. So you put it in here, and the tested, the tubes that you use for the test, you'll put them in that blue towel. Write your name, the location, and the date, and then you will tape it with black tape and store it in here. So anytime they ask for the test results, you will show them this. You'll show them these tubes, and you'll pull up the report which you have already sent to the shop or to the office. Okay, now we are done. We'll take care of these later. I have something to do with them. Okay, now we close it. Give a wrench. This kit is missing a lighter. There should be a lighter with every testing kit, and there isn't one here. So make sure you have one. If you're a smoker, that wouldn't be a problem. No, that's mine. That's not. Okay, now you're done with the kit. What you'll do is you put it back in its place. We're at the facility here, so this is different. They gave us this and they said work with this, and we're done. I hope these videos were useful, and if you have any questions, that's your problem. Don't bother me. See ya. Hey guys, sorry I'm bothering you this much. Now we'll talk about refilling the SCBA. We will use this refill adapter to refill it. Basically, you don't have to strip the SCBA like this. You can refill it even with the harness assembly and everything. All you'd have to do is unscrew the refill valve and push it inside. Alright? After that, you will put this here and make sure it's pointed up and just tie it up. Now, this is very important to know. If this one here is pointed up, this means, see, the air will be flowing up here, and this valve is not closed. This is, just going with the flow. Now, to want to close it, you have to make it like the letter T. Okay? So if it's T, it's closed. Alright? Now this is T. Same for this one here. The air will not be coming from here now, because this is T. Alright? Now, I don't know if this cylinder is open or not. We have to open one. Of course, if you're on the location, this should already be open. Okay? Now, there should be air in here until this point. Okay? Now, I will open this first. Open it up. Now the air came out of the cylinder and it's here. If I open this, air will be going out.
From the cylinder?
Yes, okay. From the cylinder. Okay, so now there is air from here to here and from here to there. This one here is like the bridge. It's blocking it, okay? Or slide it down. So we open this slowly, slowly. And as you see, the white arrow is moving. As you see, the white arrow is moving to go beyond the yellow line. Now, sometimes we fill it all the way up here, and we come back 2 hours later. We find the arrow, on the yellow line. This is, it happens in hot weather. It expands and collapses. What matters is you have to fill it all the way to the number 25 and leave it. After you've filled it up, close the valve. Close it this way. Close it. Close it. Now you're done. This is already closed. Now you have to bleed out the pressure because we closed the air from here. Now there's only air from here to here. And this is the bleed out valve. Okay? That's why it's here. If you want to open it all at once, it's going to hurt your ears. Okay, so do it slowly, slowly, and still. If you want to be wearing earplugs or ear muffs, it's recommended. But now we don't have that here, so close one ear. And that's it. Okay? Close it again. That's it. Now this is filled. Alright?
So say goodbye.
Guys, after this you will reconnect the refill valve, close it up, and that's it. Any other questions? I don't think so.